Impact of devices on children, be it teens or less than 5 years or tweens, is generally talked about in terms of the physical health. But mental health somehow takes a backseat. So it's important for a parent to understand what the child is going through. Because if you ask me who are the most stressed, it is the children, especially the teenagers. It's not to scare a parent, but to be prepared and handle the situation. So how can I as a parent address such a situation? It's important to first identify, that is recognize the issue. If a child is behaving in a certain way, for example, he's become over anxious, over fearing, or he's isolating himself. So these are some of the signs which shows that the child is having some internalizing illnesses, whether like anxiety or depression. If the child is showing excessive behavior in terms of aggressiveness, fighting and using of abusive languages, these are the signs of externalizing symptoms of the mental health. So whenever we find a child who is going into these phases, it's important to first recognize, then assess the seriousness of the situation, whether it is a transient one or it is going on for a period of time. And then accordingly, we need to manage the situation. So, how do I go about managing the situation? Ask the child to pause and reflect. Ask him questions that lead to help him understand what he is going through, whether it is internalizing behavior or an externalizing behavior. Make the child understand what he's going through, and the probable reason for it could be usage of smart devices, or rather excess usage of smart devices. Once the child is made to understand the reason, then give him certain ways how to cope up with this. Say for example, you can ask the child follow certain routine in his life. Routines somehow give the familiarity, something that the child can fall back on whenever he feels stressed. So whether it is a routine of exercise, routine of sleeping, or even the food habits. So if a child has a routine, then even in times of overwhelming phases or a stressful phases, the child can actually go back and rely on these routines. And the last thing is report or express. Have an open channel of communication with the child, where the child is able to come and tell you what he's going through. Sometimes, even as an adult, I may not understand a situation of mental health until unless I have been made aware of it or have learnt about it. So imagine a child who is completely, not knowing anything about these issues, but he's feeling them. So it's difficult for him to come and tell you. So give him that chance to come and express, either directly or lead him to come and express to you, so that the child can express his feelings in terms of what he's going through, and make him feel and understand that it is okay to feel so, and he's not alone, and you are there for him, and we can handle together. So these are some minor things that as a parent we can communicate with our children and make them feel that they're heard. It's always as a parent we impose our expectations on them in a certain behavior, how they should behave or act or perform. The same, the child also expects something out of us, and that is the first and foremost is the understanding their perspective and making them feel heard. So if we do these, so half of the issues can be solved, especially in this digitally distracted world where everyone is busy in their own world, whether it is a parent or a child or a teacher for that matter. So take this understanding from here, recognize if there is any mental health illness, assess the severity, whether it is a transient or an ongoing one, and finally help the child to manage it by setting certain principles in the form of reflecting, setting a routine, and ability to come and report to you or express.